Morning. How are you? Nice to meet you. I'm Nicholas.
Head of Operations for the International Committee of the Red Cross ICRC Ethiopia, Nicholas Roberts, stated that the ICRC has been rendering humanitarian assistance to the state of Tigray since the end of January 2022. The ICRC welcomes the recently declared humanitarian truce, he said, adding the development has made access to the war-torn Tigray much easier.
This is a very positive development for everybody. Since January, ICRC managed to get a plane with which we deliver, let's say, life-saving medical supplies with the support of the Ministry of Health that facilitated also the procedure. However, a plane remains limited in terms of what it can carry. And the fact that now with the new truce, there's a clear facilitation of convoy movements. This allows for larger movements of cargo. So yes, very welcome, very happy, let's say, with the truce. Important to make sure that the convoys are maintained at a regular pace. Needs remain extremely high for the affected communities, and we really need to maintain this pipeline in order to remain efficient and to remain close to the affected people. So we hope to send on a weekly basis the convoys the same way we do in all the rest of the country.
Roberts said the ICRC complies with its policy of non-interference in internal political situation of a given nation, adding better and more delivery to affected areas as a core issue at the moment.
The ICRC does not, really does not interfere into any kind of, political decisions, or we do not interfere into any of the internal matters. What matters really to us is to be able to reach the affected communities. This is why we try to always remain as impartial and neutral as possible, supporting communities affected throughout the country.
As TPLF deliberately killed civilians, gang-raped women and girls, and caused mass destruction and looted private and public properties and infrastructures by expanding the war into the two adjacent states of Amhara and Afar, the humanitarian crisis worsened.
How about your humanitarian support to the Afar and Amhara state?
Obviously, in Amhara and Afar, a large response. We have a sub-delegation in Gondar. In Afar, we have a team present in Semera, and we have never stopped our activities. I mean, to give you a few examples, in North Wollo, large-scale water rehabilitations in Wuchale, in Haik, in Bati, in Kobo, just at the end of the year in Debre Tabor, in Nefas Mocha. I mean, we're quite active in a lot of these areas. In Afar, Dupti Hospital, I mean, we have been carrying out regular distributions to Dupti Hospital. Just last week, we finished supporting 9,000 people in Harsuma, in Afdera. Yesterday, we did a donation of medical items to Afdera Health Center. So I think that there are needs in Afar that need to be also really covered by the international organizations.
However, the international community is still turning a blind eye to the atrocities perpetrated against civilians by the TPLF. Citing the gravity of the situation, Robert called on the international community to respond to the humanitarian crisis throughout the country before it's too late.
This is our way of working. We really believe in a neutral and impartial response to all the affected communities throughout the country. I do believe that there are needs all around. Tigray has really been affected with a lot of resources not being able to reach into Tigray, as were all the other areas also affected. However, in the other areas we managed to reach quite quickly. But there are a number of areas that we do not see the presence of that many international actors. I was mentioning the Welegas, for instance, East Welega, Kelem Welega, Mfilo, Guji, even in Eichel. There are quite a few areas where we believe there are needs. Metekel, Gilgel Beles, in Benishangul Gumuz. I mean, there are needs, and it's important to make sure that we respond to the needs of all the affected people without distinction. And this is really something that I think would be helpful if other actors also manifest themselves in some of those other affected areas.
Until the arrival of this first convoy on 1st April, the only aid deliveries since mid-December had been by air. This is far most costly and delivers only minimal supplies. The humanitarian truce has helped in this regard, says the ICRC.